once again extend Mahashivratri greetings not only to devotees here, but devotees all across the one family of humanity. I know the Attorney General spoke on my behalf already, so I would not be long. I just want to speak on two words: constancy and consciousness. Two important words in this festival of Shivratri. Two important reminders in this festival of Shivratri. According to all spiritual texts, we cannot develop or inculcate spirituality if we do not have consciousness. We cannot be good citizens if we don't have consciousness. We cannot be good children or parents if we don't have consciousness. Because consciousness comes from the conscience. And we live in a world and a society where sometimes we question, have we lost our conscience? Have we lost our consciousness? And today is about rekindling with our conscience. Understanding what is consciousness. Consciousness is not spirituality alone. Spirituality cannot exist if there is hunger, if there is anger, if there is societal decay, if there is war, if there is all of these negative forces around us affect spirituality. Spirituality sometimes is captured in a narrow realm of God consciousness. But God consciousness and God fearing comes with a lot more than spirituality. God consciousness is our ability to recognize that there is a superior understanding, there is a superior valuation, and there is a superior evaluation on our every action and our every move. That leads us to who we are and what is expected of us first as human beings. So consciousness is understanding everything. And you know, Swamiji mentioned that when the ashram was conceived, it was a time when the conscience of Hinduism was being removed from the conscience of the society, because to get a job in the civil servant, you had to convert to Christianity. That was part of our history that we cannot escape. Look at how we have evolved as a society. And then look at that vehicle that allowed our society to evolve the most. And this is not being political. This is being structural in our history, just as Swamiji would have pointed out. The most constant organization has always been, and I'm very proud that I'm part of this organization, the People's Progressive Party. In our history, there was a period when the consciousness of this party was questioned. It was questioned in a way that the message was portrayed that this party does not believe in God. But look at our history, look at our work, and you will see that some of the best religious families, some of the best religious leaders, some of the best cultural leaders came out of the bosom of this organization, the People's Progressive Party. And if we go to recent times, we just came through an electoral period. When, you see, at elections time, it is the greatest test of your conscience. And for people like us, it is the greatest test of our faith in humanity. Because we know sometimes you do all you can do for people, for a community, for a village. And then that same village would fall without conscience to some elusive promise, forgetting everything, forgetting the connection, forgetting the works. So for us, it's a big test also. And when we look at that period recently, I was just telling the Attorney General, there were individuals who presented themselves as the conscience of society. And part of who we are is not to examine that consciousness, their consciousness, is to examine our own consciousness. So regardless of who present themselves, how or what, it is for us individually to examine our own conscience and to have a level of consciousness to understand what is at play. Otherwise, we can find ourselves as part of a problem than part of a solution. And I said during that period, for the last, this will be 76 years, the organization I'm from, that I'm so proud and humbled to be part of, has never wavered. You've never changed who we are. You've never changed our principles and our values. And then you have organizations that are seasonal, that will come during this period, and they will give everything away. Even what they owe you, they will give it away in different forms. Even what they owe our country, they will give it away in different forms. And then the consciousness of our society will fall prey. And we have seen this. And I'm telling you, on this day of great consciousness, when we are at the highest level of conscience, what happened after the elections are completed? Where are the houses and the cars and the gifts? And that is what Mahashivratri allows us, to develop a form of consciousness that is at a level that allows us to make the best possible decision every day of our life in every single circumstance. Look at this ashram. It has stayed consciously consistent and constant to its task. And that is an example. Sometimes, even when your parents get old, we forget the journey that they would have walked and evolved to get to the age they're at. And as we forget that journey, we forget the love and the care and the dedication and the effort they place in making us who we are. Similarly, in the journey of a country, in the journey of this ashram, we can easily forget the organizations and the people who fought the difficult fights, who fought the difficult circumstances, who fought against evil, who fought against ill-conceived motives, and allow us to be where we are today. And we forget those people. We forget those organizations. We forget their contribution. And we are attracted to things that are not constant and things that are not selfless in nature. We cannot achieve true consciousness if we do not become selfless in our journey towards consciousness. If towards the journey to consciousness, we are not selfless. We worry, this one have that, this one got that, this man there is nicer, people dress better here, people don't dress good there, this man there got all old people, this one got all young people. How are we going to achieve that level of consciousness when we are carrying the weight of all of these things on our shoulder and we are not allowing ourselves to be selfless in the process of achieving consciousness? That is why the simplicity of this institution by itself is a story. You know, I was reflecting with my father, and I said, there is sometimes a misunderstanding of what humility is. You see, there was a time in this country, not even so far away from where we are today, when no citizen would have even dared to use certain language in referring to the president. They wouldn't even dare trying what they're trying to do. They would not. And we must consciously ask ourselves the question. Today I told Anil, all kinds of complaints you hear. In the most, and we don't complain when we talk about consciousness, because consciousness is understanding the objective reality that is occurring. When we were in opposition at 3:30 in the morning, my home was surrounded, the street was blocked, and the door was almost broken into by police ranks. The sudden conscience of our society for doing nothing. Today is an international charge, and there's a sudden conscience of our society when there is something real before them. We are in Parliament, and you get a call, my office and home was being ransacked in search of weapons. Anil, we don't complain because we believe in that consciousness. We understand the objective reality of the force that we are fighting. And I want to make it clear today because I see myself as part of an organization that has bared the conscience of this society, the conscience of this country, through every phase of our history. And these young people and everybody who are coming up, we must evaluate our connection with things based on history, based on struggles, not based opportunistically on a moment in time. When you want to know how great your parents were, don't evaluate them on one little quarrel you have today. Go back to the conscience of a mother that carried you for 9 months. Go back to the conscience of a father whose greatest joy was to pat you on your back or to rub your head to make you fall asleep. Constancy is an elusive term. Constancy is directly related to conscience. Because the consciousness and awakening of the spiritual being in us today is of very little use if it is only awakened today. Today is just but a reminder that that conscience exists and that consciousness exists so we can take it through the rest of the year and the rest of our life. So I remind myself and I remind all of us of this festival. You know, Sadhguru sent me a long letter and he invited me to be the key speaker at his celebrations this year. Hundreds of millions of people. And I could not have been here because of my duties here. But I would have loved to be there. And I want to use this forum to thank him for allowing me that honor to address that gathering. And I know he is listening because I know the human he is. And I want to say to him that the spiritual connection and the alignment allow us to be there in spirit, and in so doing to wish the entire gathering a festival Mahashivratri celebration that is filled with a deep meaning, blessing, the deep devotion, and a deep reminder of consciousness and constancy in our life. May God bless all of us. May God allow us to achieve the true meaning of consciousness and allow us to be better and truer members of the family of humanity. Thank you very much. Sitaram, everybody.
Swamiji, the Acting High Commissioner of India to Guyana, all other executive members of the ashram, our beautiful devotees, of course, the beautiful children who are here. I greet you in the name of Lord Shiva, and I extend to you greetings on this most auspicious occasion, personally, on behalf of my ministry, on behalf of the government of Guyana, and most importantly, on behalf of His Excellency, the President, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, who unfortunately is running a little late, but will be here. Mahashivratri is one of the most auspicious day on the spiritual calendar of Hinduism. It has multiple significance, both spiritual and practical. And Hindus across the globe gather at places of worship to celebrate, to congregate, and to prostrate for 24 hours continuously on this great occasion, invoking the name of Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, because it is said that worship to Lord Shiva guarantees destruction of all that is negative, the destruction of all that is disastrous, the destruction of all that is evil, all that can inhibit the soul and the body from achieving that which is good and which is positive. So practically, this is a very potent day to offer salutation to Lord Shiva. In India today, they are using this occasion to confer national awards and awards of recognition to the brave soldiers of India who have been defending the sovereign integrity of India. Shivratri now is associated with fight for one's nation and is associated now with national valor and patriotism. And we have many in our country who every day put their lives and livelihood on the line to protect and defend our national sovereignty and territorial integrity. And today I ask that we include them in our prayers as they are doing in India. Duty to one's country is important. It is religious. It is devotion to Lord Shiva. And all of us who are gathered here today must include in our prayers, in our salutations, the welfare and interest of our country. And we have to be wary of those who come like false prophets and they readily invoke the name of the Lord as they execute their personal agendas that can cause irreparable harm to our country. We have to be conscious of that as well. We also have to be conscious of the fact that we live in a highly religious country, a multi-religious country, a diverse nation, a nation of many cultures and many heritages. And we have fought hard and we have launched many struggles and battles to protect the right and the freedom that ensures that all of our people, from whichever denomination they may have been derived, to today be allowed the freedom to practice and propagate their different heritages, different cultures, and different religious practices. We are celebrating here in the name of Hinduism. Tonight, our Muslim brothers and sisters will be celebrating the commencement of the month of Ramadan at the Ramadan village in Georgetown. And our Christian brothers, during the course of this week, will begin preparation in anticipation of celebrations for the great festival of Easter. And right there you see this wonderful admixture and kaleidoscope of religious fervor, cultural conflagration, and many heritage coinciding. And all of us are able to celebrate our distinct and separate cultures under the banner of a unified One Guyana. And we mustn't take these rights and these freedoms for granted, because you know, you have lived it through, that these freedoms and these rights were not always as secured to us as it is now. And we can look around the world and we can see that people are still being killed, are still being ostracized, are still being punished in the name of religion. They are still being prohibited in fatal ways from worshipping in their own individual religious tenets. So this freedom that we have here in Guyana must be protected, and it is all of our duties, the duties of all of us, to protect it so that we can continue to be this multi-religious and multi-dimensional society that makes us so beautiful and so attractive to the rest of the world. And that is why I have to recognize the efforts of this ashram and those who are in charge of it. They have continued a glorious legacy that's nearly 3/4 of a century old. And they have kept it alive through hard work, through great sacrifices. And all of us who come here to partake in this celebration, we have also played a role in ensuring that this tradition remains not only alive, but vibrant and expansive. I know many of you journey from North America to be here, and from various places. I want to thank you for being here, and I want to ask you to continue to be part of these celebrations, and in fact, encourage people, more devotees, to be here at these festivals to ensure that we continue the paths left by our ancestors. Our ancestors have played their role. Nearly 200 years ago, they came to this land in search of a better life. And they have left with us great religions, great cultures, great practices, great traditions, great heritages. And we have inherited it. And today, these things permeate our society, and they are part of our inalienable character as Guyanese, and they are part of the Guyanese culture. And it is our duty, this generation, our duty, to ensure that we continue these traditions so that we can pass the torch on to the generation that is coming. Because we don't want to leave here and pull up the ladder. We need those who are coming after us to be able to climb that ladder, and if possible, do better than all of us. So in conclusion, I am privileged to be able to speak to you on this great occasion, and I'll be here as long as I possibly can to pray with you so that we can ensure that we benefit most from this great auspicious occasion. I thank you very much for your attention.